What's going on, guys? Matt in the Hat, Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners. You are tuned in to the hot list. As you guys know, I come to you Monday through Friday around 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we talk a little bit. We hang out for a few minutes and talk about a property that's new to the market, been on the market and had some type of price reduction, or there's something unique about the property I want you guys to know. I also have a sponsor of the week every week, and today is going to be no different. As you guys see, I am not in my home office. What I do with the weekly sponsors is give them a couple options. Number one, just give me some bullet points to talk about their business, promote their business during the week. Number two, I give them the option to come on camera and just tell us a little bit about themselves and allow us to get to know them on a personal level. And that way, they're more than just, an insurance agent, a lender, a realtor, whatever the case may be. So today is going to be no exception. I'm sitting with Chad Buchholz of Bank Midwest Mortgage, and I'm going to hand the mic over to him for a little bit and kind of let him introduce himself and give us a little bit of history about himself.
All right. Thanks, Matt. I think we just social distancing. We're about 6 feet apart here, but I appreciate you coming and giving me the opportunity to join you on your live chat here. I really appreciate that. Like Matt said, my name is Chad Buchholz. I'm with Bank Midwest Mortgage. My office is located here in Emporia at 1506 West 6th. Right next to the new Edward Jones building. I've been lending in Emporia now for 12 years. I've been on the mortgage side for a little over 10.
Okay.
I've worked with the biggest mortgage company, Wells Fargo. I've worked with one of the smallest, which was People's Bank, for a number of years. And then we were bought by Bank Midwest about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it... for me personally, it was a great transition. This is an unbelievable company, and I think you can see by the purchase units that I do in Emporia, it's been really good for the buyers of Emporia and Lyon County. We help an awful lot of buyers get into a home. So
that's awesome.
A little background.
All right, perfect. Why you got the mic, why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of what got you into lending and why lending?
Yep. I graduated from ESU with a degree in business administration. My first job in the finance world was actually as a teller. So I know how it is being a teller. You're on the front lines, and a lot of people think, well, that's at the bottom of the rung in the financial world. I don't agree. That gives you the opportunity to learn from the ground
Absolutely.
up. So that's kind of how I got my start in banking, in finance, was as a teller, and I just kind of worked my way up. This was in Colorado Springs for Wells Fargo Bank. I worked my way up to a branch manager role. And then when my wife and I moved back to Kansas in 2008, I started working for a bank called Marion National Bank. They're not here anymore. Okay. But I got my first hand in lending and actually, doing auto loans and mortgages with them, home equity loans. And it was just something that I really enjoyed. I think I'm pretty good at talking to people and relating to their needs, and then also being able to match up products with their needs. So kind of a long-winded answer to your question,
that's
but
fine.
That's kind of how I got started. That's my background.
What's kept you in lending so far?
Honestly, success. I enjoy it. I really do. But to stay in a business a long time, you got to be successful at
Sure.
it, right? And I've been successful at it. I've been successful at matching up different products, different loan programs with buyers, with refinance customers. I enjoy I'm not necessarily tied to an office. I get to move around a little bit, meaning I work a lot in Topeka. I work a lot in Lawrence. I work an awful lot in Emporia. That is definitely my home base. But I don't have to just sit here and stare at a computer 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. I can move around quite a bit, that fits my personality a lot. So that's why I've stayed in it.
And that flexibility, I'm sure right now, has come in handy with everything going on with COVID. Have you had to adapt your business specifically? Anything that you've done, or are there measures that Bank Midwest has put into place?
Without a doubt, and we are in some different trying times right now. It's unbelievable out there. One thing on the home lending side, and I know other mortgage lenders will tell you the last 4 to 5 months have been unbelievable with rates dropping. We are extremely busy with both purchase and refinance transactions right now. I focus mainly on purchase. That's just always been my goal. That's how I was taught by my mentor to focus on purchase, because purchase, there's always going to be people buying a house, or that's my mindset. Rates always aren't going to be where people can refinance. To go back on your question about the times and COVID, and we have had to adjust. Yes, we definitely have. One thing that I like to make sure I tell all lenders and all customers know, I work 7 days a week. I answer my phone, if I can, at 8 o'clock at night, at 9 o'clock at night. I respond to text messages and emails and phone calls on Sunday. So I have always been, very mobile and very easy to get a hold of. So that necessarily didn't change when offices started to close down. Gotcha. And I'm not able to meet with a lot of customers face to face. Our company, my company, Bank Midwest, has really tried to focus our attention on closings and how to make sure closings still happen, working hand in hand with the title company. Okay. To make sure that we don't see a slowdown or a hiccup. It's the last thing you want as a realtor or me as a mortgage broker is to have a purchase transaction get delayed, especially when there's 2, 3, 4 others in line that are all going to get delayed as well. So Bank Midwest has really gone out and focused on making sure that we can hit those deadlines. We've done that by allowing more options in electronic signing, letting customers literally take a picture with their cell phone and send us documents that way, whether it be a pay stub or a signature. We are allowing that now. Just different things to try to make it easier for all parties involved, realtors, myself, and of course the customer, the borrower. Make it easy to get this file from start to finish. So,
sure. And so as long as you have your phone or laptop and an internet connection, then you can go to work and get the job done.
Sure can. As long as I've got internet connection or cell phone with a Wi-Fi hotspot, then we can get it done. Yes, we can take an application. We not only take an application, we can take a file from start to finish. Okay. I've done more loans over the last 3 months where, unfortunately, even here in Emporia, I haven't met the customer face to face. I've never met them face to face, which I don't like to do it that way, but it's nice to know we can still get it done, and knock on wood, with really not very many speed bumps at all along the way.
Okay. Just to give an idea of everybody watching that may not be familiar with Bank Midwest, do you have your own programs, or do you participate in state or grant programs as well?
You bet. I'm glad you asked, Matt. We do. With Bank Midwest Mortgage and here in my office in Emporia, I can basically do any loan program that's out there, from government loans, FHA, VA, rural development, USDA loans, to all of your conventional loans.
Okay.
30-year fix, 10-year fix, 20-year fix, 15-year fix. There are multiple first-time homebuyer programs out there that I work with, both on the state level and on the national level. So yeah, I mean, I haven't found a loan program that's out there that I can't do. I'm sure there is, because there's thousands of them, but I haven't had one come up that I can't do.
That's awesome. And what is it that separates you from another lender, maybe not necessarily here in town, but a regional or national lender? What's the benefit of choosing you and using you over somebody else?
You bet, yeah. And we have some great lenders in Emporia. We really do, okay? One thing that here in Emporia, if you're talking about a local lender, I feel that I'm probably the only one that generally works 7 days a week or is willing to work 7 days a week. That's how I make my money. That's how I feed my family.
Sure.
So I think that's one thing that sets me apart. I'm definitely willing to answer the phone, like I said, in the evenings, on Saturdays and Sundays, when I'm available. And if I'm not, please leave a message and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. On a national level, you see, of course, Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loans and things like that. A couple ways I know I compete with them is you're going to call one number, my cell phone, you're going to get me. You're not going to get somebody else. You're not going to get a receptionist. You're not going to get a secretary. You're not going to get some other loan broker, loan processor. You're going to get me. Anything that the online lenders offer that don't have a brick and mortar office, we can offer. And we have definitely proved that over the last 2, 3, 4 months. Like I said, I've done dozens of mortgages here in Emporia where I haven't even got to meet the customer face to face. So I think that's, what stands out for me and then the competition.
Awesome. And is there anything that Bank Midwest has coming in the pipeline, or you specifically down the road, in order to continually adapt to whatever changes are coming with COVID?
You bet. That is one thing, that we are a large enough lender that I feel we have the technology that we need, not only for these trying times we're in with COVID, but also the new generation of home buyers, meaning the millennials, the younger generation, younger than me and you, that they want to do everything online. They may not want to go see anybody face to face. I feel Bank Midwest, we are large enough with great technology. Our websites are only getting easier to maneuver for the customer. For the realtor, we have some things coming out here in the future later this year where, of course, there's privacy, privacy, I don't want to say issues, but there's going to be privacy laws that we will follow. But realtors are going to be able to track an application and their buyer. They're going to be able to track the process just by logging onto the website and see, okay, here's my buyer that's working with Chad. Here's where they're at. Let's say appraisal's been ordered. It's due back on this date. Looks like my buyer needs to get Chad a bank statement or needs to get Chad a pay stub. The realtor's not going to get to see the bank statement. They're not going to get to see the pay stub. Again, privacy laws. But the realtor, I'm sure you want to know, where are you with your buyers? How's the process going? You don't want hiccups the day before closing, a week before closing. The realtors are going to be able to see that in live all the way through, which that's something new coming out this year that I think it's going to be a hit, especially for realtors that really like to be hands-on and know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And something like that is, in my opinion, is only going to benefit me as an agent as well as you as the lender, because by being able to do that, I don't have to rely on getting a hold of a buyer client and worrying about trying to get a hold of them while they're at work, and knowing that I'm not going to be able to talk to them till after 3:30 or after 5:30. So I think that's awesome. You did mention the online and kind of the difference with, I'm sure, just in the job and the time you've been doing it, you've seen a transition and a change from the boomers to the millennials. Has there been a huge difference in the way that you have to adapt the loan process or the way you explain everything, dealing with a different generation?
Absolutely. And I think the buyers of today, no offense to the older generation, the baby boomers, the buyers of today, here's a good way to put it. The buyers of today have so much more technology. They have so much more information at their fingertips with that little website called Google. And they can look up so many different things. The buyers today, when they come in, they tend to be a little more informed on loan programs, interest rates, fees, terminology than buyers were even like 5-6 years ago. So as mortgage bankers, we have to adjust how we talk, to the buyers of today. So yeah, there's a definite change, absolutely. And like we've talked about, the buyers of today, they like that technology. They, I ask them, hey, before COVID hit, there's 3 ways that I can take applications. I can take them, of course, face to face, which is how I like to do it.
Sure.
I can take them over the phone, which takes 5 minutes, or I can have you go out to my website, which also takes 5 minutes. If it's a younger generation, millennial, it's at least 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 that says just send me the link. Get me the link to your website. That's how I want to do it. So yeah, a lot of things have changed.
And I'm sure that only makes your job somewhat easier. But even with them being possibly more informed, do you still go through a process of start to finish and set expectations? Just not only for your benefit, but for theirs as well?
Absolutely. And that's one thing my mentor taught me is the more information, the better information that you gather up front, the smoother the transition is going to go. And one of the keys there is making sure you let the buyer, the customer, know how the process is going to work. Kind of let them know this is what's going to happen along the line. And the more detail you give them, you want to keep your customer on track too, because they're, if they're not getting you what you need, it is going to be hard for that end goal to come and hit the closing date. So yeah, absolutely. That's getting that borrower on the right path to begin with is very important.
And I'm sure most of us in the business have an idea and know, once you sit down with somebody and go through their application, what type of loan that they are going to qualify for. Is there, and because of COVID, everything's changed just a little bit. If they qualify for one, is there something, so if they qualify for FHA, for an example, and they're close to conventional, would you recommend taking a few steps to get to a conventional or stay on the FHA path?
Yeah, good question. Every different file is case by case, I say. I love conventional. I think most realtors like conventional. I think most sellers like conventional. The right buyer, probably most buyers, conventional is the better product if they qualify. And so if we are in, let's call it the pre-approval stage where we haven't found the house yet, absolutely. If there are some little tips, tricks, some things that I can tell the customer to do in order to get them to the conventional loan, absolutely. To piggyback off of that question too, Matt, if there's a customer that I do a pre-approval with that can't qualify right now, I take that opportunity and tell the borrower and coach them and say, here's what I recommend to do with your credit, or whether it's income, or whether it's money saved up for closing costs or down payment. Here's what I recommend to do. And then I try to give them a time frame, whether it's going to take them 3 months, whether it's going to take them 6 months, whether it's going to take them a year. But I try to give them, as best information and coaching that I can to get them to where they can buy a house in the future.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that you brought up that you have the ability, if they're willing, to kind of coach them through and give them a time frame as well. So that way they know if they're kind of borderline, if they do a few steps, they could do it potentially as quick as 3 months, or maybe it's going to take a little longer at 6 months. So I love that, and because not everybody knows that, not everybody has that talk or discussion. Some will just look at it as, well, okay, they don't qualify, and may just write them off altogether. I've run into a couple of those, but that's not very often. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share about Bank Midwest, or you specifically, that you'd like people watching to know?
I think, one of the things we talk about, or that I hear out on the street, is local lender. And I mentioned earlier that we have very good established mortgage bankers here in Emporia. Customers have multiple good choices. I don't want to run anybody down. Nobody deserves that. And I wouldn't be telling the truth if I did run anybody down. We have very good lenders. We have very good banks in Emporia. I really when I hear people say, well, I want to go with a local lender, it's no more local than my wife and I and our family. We live here. Our roots are here. We both went through ESU. Our kids go to school here. My wife works down at Main Street, Emporia Main Street. We are as local as it can get. And I'm not saying the others are not, okay? But, we are as local as it gets. And, we love it here. I think there's a very good future in Emporia. The real estate market, of course, there's some peaks and valleys and everything. Sure. And I know there's a lot of work going in the future with trying to get more houses and more developments and things like that. So I'm going off topic a little bit, Matt, but
it's okay.
I've worked for a number of different lenders now. This is my third lender I've worked with. It's by far the best that I've worked with. And I think if realtors and buyers and customers give me a chance, they're going to see that too.
That's awesome. When you're not working in the office, working from home, where can people find you? What are you doing? Is it family? Do you golf? Do you fish?
Yes, and yes. I like to think, or I don't like to think, my wife will tell you I do it all. I golf, I fish, I hunt, I boat, I camp, and the family, I've got 2 kids, Maddie and Luke, 8 years old and 5 years old, and they come along with me on all of that.
That's awesome.
They hunt, they fish, they golf, we boat. We do it all. And we do it all. I like to say I'm an outdoorsman. Anything outdoors, you can find me doing.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And that I would imagine is only going to continue and carry on, kind of help get them away from the pull of the electronics as they get older.
The screen time. Yeah. My wife and I call it. Yep, the screen time. Yep, get them out in Mother Nature, and we like I said earlier, we in Emporia and right here in the Flint Hills, it has all of that. We can do all of that within 20 miles of here. So and most of those 20 miles I have cell service, so I can still be reached. I can still be reached.
Where's the best way for people to find you? If you want people to get a hold of you, where's the best place to do that?
Yeah. So first thing, one and only phone number is 620-340-9547. That's my cell number, one and only number I have.
I like that.
Yep. Call, leave a message if I can't answer. And then my website. And probably the easiest way to get to my website is just Google Chad Buchholz Emporia or Chad Buchholz Mortgage or just Chad Buchholz, and I'm one of the first links that pops up. And you can go out to my website. You can find my email address on there. The phone number is definitely call or text is easiest way to get a hold of me.
And I got to personally say I love the website. Very simple, very user friendly, designed for people like me, and right towards the top of the page, big blue button that says apply.
Apply with Chad.
Yep. I love that. I don't know that a website could be more simple or user friendly.
Yep. We like to think, and there was some changes. We talked earlier that a year ago, 16, 18 months ago, there was some changes that exactly what you just said we tried to do. Make it as easy as possible for all customers, buyers, to fill out an application on the website.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Just thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It is some trying times out there for sure, but interest rates we never thought they could be this low again, and they've dipped even farther. As of today, August 5th, a 30-year fixed rate under 3% without paying any points is basically the norm today. That could change tomorrow. It could change this afternoon. We don't think it's going to. But, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a great time to be looking for a mortgage, whether it's a purchase or a refinance. Just thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in to The Hot Seat today with special guest Chad Buchholz of Bank Midwest Mortgage. If you guys have any questions other that we didn't answer today, please feel free to reach out to me. I can put you in contact with Chad. You could also visit his website, get a hold of him directly. So that's what I got for you guys today in the hot list. Thanks for watching with Matt in the Hat, Matt Johnson Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams Diamond Partners. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have an awesome, what is today? Wednesday. And I will see you tomorrow.